The Netflix that we see today was not as popular as it is now. The history of this OTT platform is one of fascinating stories. Back then, things were very different. At some point in time, Netflix was nothing but a small-scale DVD rental service that was almost out of business. They worked day and night to sell their company to one of the biggest competitors back then called Blockbuster. Unfortunately, Blockbuster did not accept their offer and made fun of them. Now look at the scenario today. Blockbuster has gone out of business long back, but Netflix has established itself and made a profit of more than $200 billion, won numerous prestigious awards, and was a turning point for the entertainment industry. But how did they do it? And if you consider the present scenario, why is Netflix collapsing? Don't skip and watch this video till the end to get your answers. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we will talk about the reasons behind the downfall of Netflix. So, what are we waiting for? Let's dig deep into the matter. How Netflix really began. Mark Randolph, the CEO of Netflix, had one thing in mind, and that was the fact that he wanted to start his own business. He drew inspiration from Amazon. By looking at Amazon, he would wonder if this online selling the books seems to prosper, and back then, people were obsessed with the new internet thing. But the actual problem was that Mark had no idea about what business he wanted to do. He would carry a small notebook along with him to pen down the ideas that appeared relevant to him. Mark collected more than 100 ideas and presented them to one of his friends, Reed, who rejected each one of his plans. He said that Mark should find something that people will love to buy repeatedly. Mark thought about this and suggested the last idea of selling videotapes. That was the first time that Reed did not dismiss the idea just after hearing about it. He finally said that renting out movies via the internet may be a big business idea that they have been waiting for so long. When they researched the idea a bit more, they realized that this idea did not have much scope when thought of from a wider perspective. A couple of weeks later, Reed was going through a tech magazine where he read about a new technology called DVDs, which were much more advanced than the VHS tapes. They were cheaper to ship, and they could even be posted with just a regular stamp for just 32 stamps. Because of their structure, they were much easier to store, and therefore Reed thought that this business had a probability of blowing up. This technology was a very new one, and therefore nobody else had the courage to do it. Before 1997, neither Reed nor Mark had ever seen a DVD. They were popular in Japan. The core idea of the business was that both of them, Mark and Reed, would buy a huge collection of DVDs and build a website where the customers could rent them out for a very minimal amount. After the customer had placed an order, they would pack the DVD in a protective sleeve, and it would reach the customer in a few very days' time. Once they finished watching the movie, they would put the DVD in a prepaid return, which was included in the pack itself, and send it back. Now they have a business idea, and all they needed was financial support. Fortunately, Reed had some money saved up, and for Mark, it was his mother. His mother stood as a rock for him, and became one of the earliest investors of Netflix. Eventually, their investment and hard work paid off, and by the end of 1997, they became really wealthy. The money invested by Reed was used to hire a small office and a small group of people. Initially, none of the team members were happy with the name Netflix. The reason behind this was that the word "flix" had a negative and low connotation, according to them. But finally, they agreed on Netflix as it was the only word that fulfilled the criteria of meaning both the internet and cinema. The name was also kind of catchy and short. The first day of Netflix. After that, they worked day and night for months to build up their website, working on how many copies they should put up or which movies to buy. Now, after this insane work, they were finally ready to launch Netflix to the world, and it was definitely time for the madness to begin. Their hard work definitely paid them off. As soon as they launched their website, orders started to pile up, and the users seemed to love this idea. Some of the team members of Netflix also infiltrated the online forum and bulletin boards, making several comments to increase its popularity. The strangers thought of them as genuine comments and also went up to the Netflix website. After 20 minutes, they suddenly noticed that the bell had stopped ringing, which meant that the orders had stopped coming in. This had put everyone in tension as the customers did not stop placing orders, but the website crashed because of too much traffic. Somehow, they dealt with the problem and finished the first day with 137 orders, which were expected by no one. A series of unfortunate events. As a way to get more orders, Netflix shook hands with famous companies of DVD players such as Toshiba and Sony. The main motive for the collaboration was that whenever a person bought a new player, they would get a serial number. And if they entered that number on the official website of Netflix, then Netflix would allow the customers to rent some of the DVDs for free. They thought that this service would get the customers hooked to Netflix, and in turn, they would become paying customers. But in reality, nothing turned out as planned, and it was a complete disaster. Initially, they put out 3 free rentals, but after a certain time, Sony forced Netflix to increase the number to 10. This was out of their league, but Netflix desperately needed customers, so they agreed to the offer. The main problem arose when the Sony company printed the serial number on the outside of boxes, which meant that anyone and everyone would have access to the number, including the non-buyers. After all this, Netflix seemed to lose the market a bit when it came up with a new marketing strategy. This time, they went for publicity stunts. They released the full video of Bill Clinton's trial to provoke interest, and as expected, people went bonkers for it. Netflix then converted the video footage into DVD and gave it out for 2 cents. Here also, the plan did not work out for long. The company which worked to convert the video also provided service to people making adult movies, and unfortunately, the DVDs got mixed up. Some of the people who had ordered Clinton's clip received the explicit content. When Netflix came to know about the mishap, they personally emailed every customer who had ordered the DVDs. In today's present scenario, we are right in the middle of streaming wars, and there are a lot of competitors around. Now Netflix has got to compete against so many networks which have come up with their own streaming services. It has also got to compete with massive tech companies such as Apple and Amazon, which have got their original content as well. All of this competition surely is not good for Netflix. In the first place, people would like to opt for a rival service, or perhaps subscribe to Netflix for a couple of months, and then switch to some other platform. The major problem was that initially, Netflix displayed content from Disney and HBO, but with their own platforms now, they have pulled off their content from Netflix for their own streaming sites. One of the worst news came in 2022. Netflix, for the first time in history, announced that they had lost a good amount of subscribers this year, and this number is going to increase with time. After that, in just a small amount of time, they lost nearly 50 billion of their market cap. The future for Netflix is not certain now, but definitely, this is not the end of Netflix. There are many things that we can learn from Netflix, such as we should focus on one thing really well to gain success, rather than diversifying and spreading ourselves. We should also adapt to the changing times and keep ourselves updated with technology. Now we have to wait and watch whether Netflix manages to gain popularity once again or fails to innovate ourselves. It is going to be a fascinating story. So with this, we have got to the very end of this video. Will Netflix be able to compete with the other platforms, or will it succumb to the other platforms? What do you think? Do let us know your valuable opinions in the comments below. If you like this video, share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such related content. Hit the bell icon to get fresh updates. Thanks for watching.